Welcome to Yappo's Mobile Commerce Masterclass featuring Tapcart. We're here today to discuss the shifts in the e-commerce landscape and consumer behavior and define strategies to engage the modern mobile consumer using mobile solutions like Yappo and Tapcart. My name is Maggie Dunn, and I currently lead all product marketing activities for Yappo's SMS marketing solution. I'm very passionate about creating unique experiences for shoppers and more personalized buyer journeys using mobile solutions, so I can't wait to jump in. Just as a housekeeping item, feel free to ask any questions directly in the chat here. We'll definitely leave some time at the end for Q&A, and we'll do our best to have our team respond in real time. Joining me today is Sina Mobasser, the founder and COO of Tapcart. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sina.
Thank you, Maggie. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I'm a founder of Tapcart, and we're based in Santa Monica. We empower Shopify merchants to launch a white label mobile app for their brand. Prior to co-founding Tapcart, I actually launched one of the very first iPhone apps on the App Store back in 2008. It was the 250th app on the App Store. Now there's over 2 million. And if anyone can recall Pop Quiz, it was a pop culture trivia game. I actually, had engineered and developed that and launched it. And it was a top 10 free iPhone app for quite a while. It was getting more downloads than the Google app and the Facebook app. And I think it tells you more about, people love games and trivia more than, the actual quality of the app that I created. But it just really got me the first taste of the App Store. And I think few people remember, but the very first iPhone came out with no third-party apps. They were all Apple apps. There was no App Store. There were no push notifications. There was no Instagram. Just a very different landscape than what we have today. So then after that, started a company called TestMax, which was the first mobile test prep courses for iPhone and iPad. And here we are today.
Incredible. Super inspiring. I would love to one day say I also developed an app or created an app or was involved in some capacity. So that's really cool. Cool. So let's dive into just a little bit about Yappo and Tapcart. So for those of you who might be less familiar with Yappo, we are the leading e-commerce marketing platform, helping thousands of forward-thinking brands like Patagonia, Rebecca Minkoff, Movement, Princess Pauli, and more to accelerate direct-to-consumer growth. Yappo's single platform approach integrates data-driven solutions to make it easy to strengthen relationships with customers, from community advocacy solutions like reviews, retention like loyalty, and what we'll be leaning into today is engagement solutions like SMS. Yappo gives brands the tools they need to win over their customers all under one roof. And I'll hand it over to you, Sina, just to talk a little bit more about Tapcart.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited as well. There's a lot in common between what Yappo can provide in terms of an own marketing channel of SMS subscribers and what Tapcart provides, which is an own marketing channel of push notification subscribers. Tapcart empowers Shopify merchants to launch a mobile app for their brand. It's a white label mobile app that goes on the iPhone App Store and the Google Play Store. By launching an own marketing channel of push notification subscribers, you can connect with them in real time at scale. And we've been around since 2017. We have a few thousand Shopify merchants on the platform. And to date, we have close to $3 billion in sales across our customers' apps.
Awesome. Cool. So I think let's dive right in. And I think to open up our discussion, it's important that we recognize where we are with the e-commerce landscape. Sina, I think there's no denying that we're in the midst of ongoing and accelerating changes to consumer behavior and the e-commerce landscape in which they participate, from the latest shifts in privacy policies, we can get into those in a bit, to evolving customer expectations and new purchasing behaviors. And I think these shifts are forcing brands and marketers to think differently. And just to highlight a few trends that we've been seeing, mobile shopping extends its lead. Consumers have increased their online shopping significantly year over year, with the pandemic driving even more people to shop on site or through mobile apps rather than in store. Not only that, they're doing most of their online shopping right from their mobile devices, right? Sina, I'm sure you can add a bit more here in what you're seeing with mobile app engagement specifically.
Absolutely. It's really fascinating how quickly things have turned since when we first started working on Tapcart in late 2016. Back then, it seems like not that long ago. It was about 5 years ago. back then, about 50% of traffic to Shopify websites was on a desktop or a laptop, and about 50% was on a mobile device. And they were, really essentially neck and neck. They were side by side. And then in the past 4 years, overall mobile growth has just skyrocketed. And now the latest numbers, I believe, are 84% of traffic to Shopify stores is on a mobile device, and only 16% is on a desktop or laptop. So there's been a huge shift in consumer behavior. And over the last 10 years, or the last 14 years or so, since the iPhone first was announced in 2007, and this huge shift in behavior has occurred almost overnight. And what consumers have done is they expect all their favorite brands to be accessible in the palm of their hand, and they expect an omni-channel experience across different channels. So it's more important than ever to be focused on mobile. Anytime you have any sales channel where 75, 80% of your customers are coming in through a channel, it really makes sense to optimize for that channel.
Absolutely. And I think the stat is consumers are averaging 6 different touch points before they actually go ahead and complete a purchase, which is just why it's so important that we're here today to talk about why it's huge to invest in mobile solutions and provide those different touch points where they're most likely going to convert. And to your point, customers are craving just this much more value. Every shopper wants to feel special. We'll get into their expectations in a bit. And of course, customer privacy is now at the forefront. With the decline of the cookies and data accessibility, your brand really needs to find new ways to collect data and engage customers. Plus, now that customers can make themselves more anonymous on other channels like email, you need to offer even more value to convince them to share that information with you willingly and proactively. And so it's important as a brand that you provide customers that transparency they're desiring and earn the actual right to talk to them.
Yeah, when you think about the mail privacy protection, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, that was introduced in iOS 15, I believe at this point close to 75% of iPhone users have adopted iOS 15. And a part of it is it's something that doesn't allow you to, or it allows you to easily opt out of common user tracking things that we did over email, such as pixel tracking, checking open rates, grabbing your IP address, et cetera. So really the key that we see is there's an ever evolving landscape, and it can be controlled by a few tech giants. In this case, Apple, which has, I think, over 1 billion active devices around the world. What they've done is, they've ultimately made it harder to track email, and a lot of the metrics and optimizations that we were using just simply don't work anymore. So it's really why it's more important than ever to have an omni-channel experience and own your marketing as much as possible.
Absolutely. And just to go into it a bit further, before we even go into your strategies for engaging that mobile consumer, let's actually talk about who that mobile consumer is. So what we also need to recognize is that it's consumers' time spent on mobile. So we talked a little bit about sales, and we'll continue to do so, but what we're seeing is that over 79% of them shop on mobile devices. They check their phones over 150 times a day, which is over 4 hours, which is pretty insane, but we're all guilty of it. We are all mobile consumers in some capacity. So you probably have your phone right next to you, I imagine. I do as well. The fact of the matter is we're all mobile.
Yeah, I read a stat that said, I'm not sure what percentage of Instagram users, but a large percentage of them open up the app over 125 times a day. Kind of crazy when you think about it and kind of alarming, but I think it's just reality. So, hey.
I've turned that notification tells you after whatever 30 minutes of being on the app.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so also let's talk about consumers. They've completely reshaped their shopping behavior over the last decade, and they expect brands to do so as well, whether they consciously know this or not. Mobile consumers, we want everything at our fingertips. We want things immediate, right? I was on the phone with an airline company the other day just to change a flight, and as soon as I hear I have an over-hour wait time, I immediately go to the airline's website. I try to check to see if there's a chat feature. Is there any other way that I can get this flight changed as soon as possible, right? We need things right away. We want things that are relevant to us based on our interests, our behaviors. We want real-time interaction. We want content to be personalized to us. Even just being addressed by the first name through some sort of communication. We want to see that. And we want messages to be memorable and, of course, engaging. And consumer demand for seamless and engaging mobile experiences becomes even more apparent when we close in on peak shopping periods, like the very fast approaching holiday season, beginning with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Sina, I'm sure your team is super busy over there. We are as well. This is such a critical time for our brands, and we want nothing but success for them. And this is when we see e-commerce sales and sales from mobile devices skyrocket. So we were just talking about that percent of sales coming from mobile. Shopify data last year, 67% of those sales came from mobile for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, just compared to 33% on desktop. And we're expecting similar, if not greater, trend this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And plus, mobile commerce as a whole is expected to grow over 68% by 2022, which is insane, but it's what we're seeing.
I came across a mind-boggling stat recently. I'm trying to recall what the source was. I'll see if it comes to me. But it said that a lot of e-commerce merchants out there, they generate about 25% of their annual revenue, anywhere from 20 to 25% over Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So really crazy numbers. That might include the holiday season. I'll have to go double check, but we'll provide a reference to that later. And it just really tells you how important Black Friday and Cyber Monday are. Every year, there's just mind-boggling numbers that are announced by Amazon and Alibaba and all these other companies. And you think, man, how can next year be even bigger than this year? And it just seems to always just get bigger and bigger. So really more important than ever. And it just really emphasizes the need for an omni-channel own marketing channel approach, because in order to reach these consumers, these shoppers of yours, there's a million businesses that are vying for their attention, and there's a finite amount of attention to be paid. So it's really more important than ever to be omni-channel, be on email, be on SMS, and be on push, because you want to be where your customers are.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it better. So it's very evident just knowing how much time consumers are spending on mobile and that their expectations are through the roof. Brands who prioritize the needs of mobile consumers will ultimately thrive in this new age of mobile commerce. And we've seen many brands taking steps in the right direction, right? So next, I think we want to break down for you, how can you create powerful experiences that are not just mobile friendly, but mobile first?
So a great way to really get started with this process is to optimize your storefront to really make it a mobile first experience. I think a lot of merchants out there, they might think, oh, my website is mobile responsive, or I just got a PWA, or this theme that I'm using on Shopify, it says it's mobile friendly. There's a very big difference, especially now when you're seeing 80+% of traffic to Shopify stores on mobile. There's a very big difference between mobile friendly or mobile optimized and built with mobile first in mind. SMS and push are mobile first marketing channels. The mobile app is a mobile first storefront that Tapcart created. And as a result, every e-commerce brand has a website. So you want to check your website to ensure it is mobile friendly. A lot of mobile responsive websites or Shopify themes that are out there, the initial version of the theme is created on a laptop, and it's created with a desktop first approach. And then after that's done, then it'll go around and the designer will make it a mobile optimized experience. But again, when there's that much traffic and it's more important than ever, there's so many distractions, you really want to be able to convert them as quickly as possible. And I'll get to optimizing the pages in just a moment. Another way to help your mobile customers shop or optimize that experience is to launch a mobile app. It is without a doubt it's the fastest and the highest converting sales channel out there on mobile. And if you use Instagram, like a lot of the people around the world do, for hours a day, apparently. No, I'm kidding. It's great because you already know what this is about. You already intuitively understand this. Most people, almost all who use Instagram on their phone, they are accessing it through the Instagram app. not many people know that Instagram has a fully functional mobile responsive website that can be accessible on Safari or Chrome on your phone. But it has all the features, or most of the features that the app does, but virtually no one uses it because there is a fast, well-designed app. So understanding that will help you understand some of the differences between a shopping experience on a mobile website versus a mobile app, where everything loads instantly, all the little animations and transitions that you're expecting. And all of those really add up over time. And then finally, optimizing for page load times on the web. Amazon released a study where every 100 milliseconds or a tenth of a second, there was a significant drop in sales for every 100 milliseconds of page loading time. So all of these little experiences and loading times and waiting times will add up. So if you don't have a fast mobile website, then ultimately what's going to happen is your customers are going to go and they're going to reach out to competitors and browse with them instead of you.
Yeah, definitely. And these strategies here, like, it's great that we're starting to see brands doubling down, taking advantage, and helping their mobile consumers shop. And as a next step, what we want brands to also start to be thinking about and doing is to craft an experience that's mobile first and helping mobile consumers engage. So obviously keep doubling down on helping mobile consumers shop, but also start to think about how you can have your mobile, how you can engage your mobile consumers. And that obviously with SMS and push, we'll talk about that a little bit more. And you can do that with these 4 key areas. So Sina, I think we can both agree that text and push, if used in tandem, can be extremely effective in terms of engaging customers instantly and giving them that instant communication on their phones.
Absolutely. And if you're not sure what an owned marketing channel is, it is a marketing channel where you have subscribers and you own the audience. An example of a non-owned marketing channel is Instagram. On Instagram, you have followers, but you don't necessarily have a subscriber. So you can't reach out to them on your own and send them a message at your whim. Ultimately, Instagram and Facebook, they own that audience, and they're the ones that monetize from that audience. So they control who sees what and when they see it. And I think a good example of some of the pains that e-commerce merchants have felt over the last 5 years or so, experimenting with non-owned marketing channels, is going back to Instagram, because it wasn't just about 5 or 6 years ago in 2015, I believe, that Instagram was still not being monetized. And you could put up a post as a business and it would have this huge organic reach, which is the percentage of people who see any given post that you post for free. So essentially not a sponsored post. That organic reach, where for some merchants it was 50% or higher, has dropped down to about 0.5% to 2% on average. So it's the organic reach has gone down, and the cost to post or the amount of sponsorships for posts has gone through the roof. And now Instagram is generating close to 1/3 of all of Facebook's revenue. And it's essentially become like a pay-to-play platform for a lot of e-commerce merchants, where it's becoming more and more expensive, but they've already gotten used to it. They've gotten addicted to it as a marketing channel. So it just really makes it more important than ever to focus on channels that have subscribers, that is email, SMS, and push notifications. Invest in your own marketing channels, and you'll have a lot more ownership, and you'll have a lot more control over the destiny of your brand from a marketing perspective. Another one is to make mobile shopping seamless. We talked a little bit about this in the last slide. If you play sports or if you're an athlete, you might have heard of something called a flow state. It's something where you are in the zone, you're not thinking about your phone, you're not thinking about your Instagram, you're not thinking about anything else but that sport that you love playing. And I love to think of a seamless shopping experience as one where you can kind of enter that flow state, because nothing else matters. And when you're in that flow state, you are having a very seamless shopping experience, and you will ultimately end up more engaged with what you're browsing, more interested in what you're doing, purchasing more items, and offering a much higher customer lifetime value than shoppers and shopping experiences that don't let you get in that flow state.
I really love that analogy, but it's so true. Like, just making it easy for customers to click through whenever they get a communication from you from SMS, give them a a direct link to shop on their website. Just make it easy for them to convert, and you're only going to drive more conversions. Another way for helping mobile consumers engage is to give them exclusivity. So because mobile customers want to feel special, it's so important to make them feel that way, right? Like send them exclusive offers, give them promotions. We have a number of brands who have a mobile app, doing app exclusive offers, sending out SMS campaigns and being like mobile app exclusive. This is SMS and mobile apps just work so well together, and because it's mobile first, and you're more likely going to get people to download your app if you're communicating with people that are already on mobile getting texts from you. So also give them exclusive early access to new products that you're dropping, VIP only. Like there's a way with words that you can truly make it so that these experiences you're giving them are very exclusive to that end user. Everyone wants to feel unique.
I really love what you. I really love what you mentioned about the exclusivity part. I think everyone loves to feel like they're a part of something special, or like some kind of community, some kind of thing that offers them access to something exclusive. I think the only person that didn't love like a membership or a club was Yogi Berra. I think he said that I wouldn't want to be part of any club or group that would have me as a member. I don't know, something like that. Just Yogi being Yogi. And I think I probably just aged myself there. But anyway, what is so powerful about exclusivity and what makes it so easy is, you really talked about it in some of the comparisons with push notifications and SMS. In the mobile app, not a lot of people know. So if you have other sales channels that you use beyond the online store, examples of other sales channels are the mobile app, point of sale, wholesale, Facebook, Amazon. There's quite a few out there. These are places that you can sell products that are supported by Shopify. You can open up any product or collection in Shopify, and you can control the sales channel visibility of that product. So if you want to offer an SMS-driven or push notification-driven mobile app exclusive, let's say, SMS and push notifications would work great in tandem here, because you can offer some kind of exclusivity with an SMS opt-in or a push notification opt-in, and that could lead you to get exclusive access to a product that's only available in the app, for example. We have some customers who do this. They're about to drop their mobile app. They're going to drop a new collection of swimwear. There was a merchant that we had in Australia that was launching their app and a new collection of swimwear the same week, and they decided to make it available in the mobile app only for the first 3 days. And they drove a lot of it through an SMS campaign as well. So they were paired side by side. It was a fantastic promotion, and they wanted to make it available in the app only, that new collection of swimwear, for the first 3 days. So it created this frenzy of people to download the app, because you have this small hoop that you have to jump through. Hey, here's a link, just download our free app. It takes 10 seconds. It is free. And now you'll have exclusive access to a new collection of swimwear when as soon as the collection drops, and it's only available in the app. Now you feel like you're part of something because you jumped through this small hoop and you have exclusive access. And as soon as the collection in the app dropped, it was a frenzy. They ended up selling out of the entire collection of swimwear in the first 3 days before it was even available on the website. So it just tells you a lot about consumer psychology and consumer shopping behaviors, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a nice preview to some of the brand examples we'll be speaking about in a bit. But lastly, on this slide, being able to personalize engagements, again, customers want to feel unique. They're much more likely going to engage with content that is personalized to them, relevant to them, based on their needs, their interests, their shopping habits. So you'll just want to make sure you're making an effort to personalize your engagements too.
So SMS and mobile apps are two of the best ways to connect with mobile customers. SMS is a mobile first and customer first and privacy first channel. And push notifications also have a real-time component to them that empowers merchants to connect with customers in real time as well, at scale. And there's a really key component to that, the real-time element that SMS and push have. When they're paired together, they give excellent results, and they're often a very good supplement to that omni-channel approach for marketing that we've talked about with email, SMS, and push notifications.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to elaborate more on just how powerful these two channels are for mobile first engagement solutions, they meet customers where they are. The mobile consumer, they're not just always shopping directly on your website. Maybe they're in your brick and mortar store, or they're on your Instagram. They're they're everywhere. And so you need to be able to deliver on these mobile first experiences in order to meet their expectations and to continue to turn them into these loyal customers. And with SMS, specifically, we're seeing over 89% of mobile consumers wanting to receive texts from brands, and 87% of them are already signed up. I think
Wow.
that this channel definitely is one to be investing in if you're not already. And Sina, I'd love to hear more about push notifications. What are you seeing there? How are push notifications delivering on those customer experiences that they're craving?
I think in terms of engagement, it's very close to what you're seeing on the SMS side, anywhere from 6 to 8x more engagement. And by engagement, we mean the open rates that you see, the speed of the open rates, and the click-through rates or app open rates. They are significantly higher than email. And it makes sense. When you think about being where your customers are, although as you're working during the day, you might be in email a lot, you could be buried in Gmail or whatever you use for email, but you're working. You hopefully are not doing too much shopping when you're working, but that's a whole other matter. But the reality is, when you have some downtime, when you're unwinding, when you're relaxing, when you're wasting a little time, let's say, that's when we tend to shop a lot more than if you're in the middle of work, for most people. And ultimately, when people, as people are in that shopping mode, when they're unwinding and relaxing, they're not buried in Gmail, hopefully. They are on Instagram, and they are in their messages app, and they are in, they're going to be receiving all kinds of push notifications from other e-commerce merchants just like yours. And in order to compete and stay competitive and stay relevant, again, it's really important to have that push channel in addition to SMS and email.
Absolutely. So I think we've talked a lot about, email, and there's way more engagement with SMS and mobile apps. But just want to address, I think our audience might be thinking, email can also reach this mobile consumer too. And you're absolutely right. It's just important to address that with privacy policies continuing to evolve, the iOS 15 one just being one example, it's becoming more and more difficult for marketers to not only reach, but also target and engage customers with email effectively. Email's not dead, of course, but you can no longer rely solely on tweaking these more traditional channels and strategies every time that there's this new change. You need to start thinking seriously about equipping yourselves with the channels that were built for this future, that we're in, that we're moving toward, channels that will allow you to prioritize the needs of the mobile consumer above all else. And there's no better channel suited than mobile with SMS and mobile apps to give that immediate, convenient, and personalized mobile shopping experience that your customers want. But yeah,
I totally agree. I've kind of harped a little bit, a lot on email and some of the benefits of it, some of the downsides. There are a lot of benefits to it. And I think if you can deliver personalized and relevant email that provides a lot of value, instead of just focusing your emails on transactional things such as, or promotions, which most people do. This is somebody who is aware of your brand. They provided you their email address. They've said, I want to hear from you. I expect to hear from you. And you have to really think about that from a perspective of going a lot beyond just promotions. If you can provide value, by notifying them of news in that industry, or letting them know about upcoming product drops or new promotions. Maybe it's something that's exclusive to them because they opted into your email. These are all the things that will make email a lot more relevant and valuable. And the higher engagement that you have and more value that you provide, the more valuable that marketing channel is going to be over time, regardless of mail privacy protection.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more just about the diversifying your channels. It shouldn't just be one channel over the other. Over here, we're all about using SMS marketing in tandem to complement email in order to maximize that engagement and reach. As we mentioned, the 6 different touch points, you need to have these different channels in order to capture that customer intention and get them to convert. So I want to get a little bit more tactical here in the ways that you can deliver mobile first experiences. Spoiler is that the possibilities with SMS and mobile apps are practically endless, but we only have a short window for a webinar. So let's dive into a few cases just so you guys can get a better idea of how you can leverage the channels. So it's important to highlight how effective instant communication can be in the moments that matter most to customers in order to drive revenue. SMS is a two-way channel, so you need to capitalize on having these one-on-one conversations with your customers to be able to personalize the SMS experiences for your customers. You know, regularly engage customers in conversations, both in an automated way, so they get that immediate real-time interaction. You can do that with SMS flows. And you can also just respond to, right through your help desk integrations or SMS chat, respond to customer inquiries about their questions on, you know, what product is right for me, or just answer the questions that they have the moment that you text them. And I think doing so can just help your brand develop rapport and just establish that trust that you want your customers to have in you. And then moving into triggering timely messages, Sina, I bet you have a lot to say there, but just want to mention that for SMS, you want to send shoppers down that right path that's going to get them to purchase. So with flows, you can engage your customers in real time throughout their buyer journey. So like when a customer first subscribes to SMS, when they opt in, SMS is an opt-in channel, when they reach a new loyalty tier, or maybe when they haven't purchased in a while. So triggering at these critical moments in their buyer journey are the best way to engage customers, and the same would go for push.
SMS flows are key. Every merchant wants to automate their messaging and automate their marketing as much as possible, and there is no better way to do it than by having a lot of automated flows around it. Because a lot of e-commerce merchants, you don't want to be sitting there and tinkering with your flows and optimizing things all the time. What merchants care about the most from a very high level is making amazing products that their customers love and delivering the products to their customers. That's what really matters the most. And a lot of these are ways to capture the attention of your customers so you can generate interest in them and you can generate orders and a whole lot more. And being able to really strike while the iron's hot, I brought that phrase up earlier. I love it because it's such an important element of sales, is being top of mind at just the right time. And there's no science behind it. There's no way to know exactly what the right time is, but if you can automate your messaging and if you can deliver a timely message, so there's less time, you know, the less time that goes by between when the event that triggered a flow occurred and when they actually open and read your message, as that time window gets a lot larger, you're going to be less likely to convert that particular person. So, you know, conversely, if somebody opts into a back in stock via SMS or via push notification, they want to be notified there's a new product variant, maybe a new shoe size out there, and they want to be notified of it as soon as it drops. And if 5 days goes by from when you sent that back in stock email and when they opened it, it's going to be a lot less effective because they're not going to be as interested anymore. But because you have that real-time component with SMS and push, they're much more likely to see your message faster, and it creates that sense of urgency because it's very consistent with the theme of a back in stock, which is that this product is hot, it's in limited quantity, and you got to act now.
Absolutely, give them that FOMO feel.
Exactly. And then finally, winning customers back. I mean, as everyone knows, it costs a lot more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain one. So it's a really easy way to boost your LTV by getting people to opt into your email, SMS, and push flows. It takes a little bit of work to get somebody to download the app and get them to opt in. The same for SMS. But ultimately what happens is there's so much value that's driven from that it'll be well worth your time to rely on.
Absolutely. The next way to jump on mobile first experiences is to collect more social proof and inspire brand trust, and that you can do with Yappo reviews. So shoppers are inspired by what customers have to say about your products, and that ultimately can lead to driving purchasing decisions. So Sina, I'd love your take on also promoting reviews directly in a brand's mobile app and what that can do for conversions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we have an integration with Yappo. It was, I believe, our first reviews integration. And, I love it because nothing works better than social proof to get people over that finish line for a product. And if you have a recommendation and if you have, evidence of a friend, an acquaintance of yours, a colleague, a friend, somebody that you know and interact with, you're much more likely to trust that and trust the brand as well. So being able to offer that information that's already available on the website, offering a consistent and omni-channel experience, product reviews is one of the best ways to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about strengthening your brand, and you can even strengthen your text messages too. With the Yappo reviews integration, you can incorporate that product star rating directly in the SMS message. So brands who do so see, I think it's like an 18% higher increase in SMS click-through rate just by incorporating this type of social proof. You can improve that abandoned cart recovery by including a photo of the actual product the customer abandoned. I think that one's huge because, again, back to that FOMO, you want to remind customers why they should come back and why they should come back and purchase. So just for the sake of time, moving on to the last one, engaging your mobile consumers with personalized messages. So leveraging data and collecting data. SMS is built on collecting zero-party data and knowing first-party data on a customer. As you learn more about your customers through every touch point and interaction, you can actually use this data to better target customers to create a unique experience for every shopper. And the more data you have, the more you can segment. So being able to create segments of customers based on where they are, their location, maybe you have an in-store event happening, demographics, cart values, the list is endless, but doing so, creating these segments will help guarantee that every message that you send is relevant to that consumer. And we all know that mobile consumers want things that are relevant and personalized to them.
Yeah, there's really no doubt about that. So the more value that you can provide there, the more personalized it is, the more relevant. Again, it goes back to having you feel like you're a part of a community. You don't have to, in the case of a mobile app, you don't have to have every one of your customers download it. You don't need to have every single shopper of yours subscribe to email or push or SMS, even for that matter. But if you can get, with these own marketing channels are so powerful, they're so much more powerful, especially than followers or any kind of engagement that you can get on a non-owned marketing channel, that it provides a lot of value over time. And the more value that you can provide to the merchants, the more personalized and on-brand it is, the more likely they are to really be a brand loyalist and to stick with your brand. So again, you don't have to get every one of your customers to, let's say, download the app, but if you can get your top 5 to 10% of your customers, a significant chunk of those people, your best customers, who are most likely to, or more likely to download the app if it becomes released anyway, then ultimately what happens is you're going to increase the lifetime value of those customers, and that in itself could see a huge ROI and make a huge impact on your sales over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So now that we've gone through some use cases for SMS and push notifications, let's take a look at how a couple of our leading D2C brands are engaging mobile consumers right now. So first one, LSKD, a mutual client of ours. I actually had the opportunity to interview this awesome brand based in Australia. So, they were stoked about their mobile app, could not talk more highly about it, but they would talk about how they're highlighting their app via SMS campaigns to really connect engagement with these two channels. So what we were alluding to earlier. But at any rate, they were looking to take their SMS channel to the next level. So they came over from a previous provider and added new ways to drive more SMS subscribers, including through their loyalty program. And they saw their subscriber growth jump 310% in just 6 months. They enabled triggered messages throughout the buyer journey, what we were talking about earlier, how important that can be, and saw a little over 80x ROI across all their flows. But something I do want to point out with this brand in particular is that they believe in a true value exchange. They know that their customers want to stay in the know about all new product drops, similar to that swimwear brand. So what they did is communicated via SMS every time that there was like an upcoming drop coming, which just led to crazy ROI for these specific campaigns. But just being open and transparent and giving customers what they want on this channel really drove that success for them. But cool, the next one, Princess Pauli, another killer fashion forward Australian brand. They also have a presence in the US. they were leveraging Yappo at the time for reviews and loyalty, and they understood that they needed to diversify their channels, and so they added SMS, and in just a few months they saw millions come in revenue from SMS alone, and 64x ROI across all SMS campaigns. So they understood that they needed to acquire their customers' attention, which it's very important to mention that their target audience is Gen Z, so whose attention span is almost non-existent. But engaging these consumers directly on mobile just led to largely their success in SMS, and I'm sure the same thing goes for the success they saw in their mobile app as well.
Yep.
Cool. So, the results from these brands, I think, speak for themselves. Mobile-first marketing strategies are worth it. They will only become more valuable for brands because mobile commerce is not a trend, it's the new norm. So, awesome. I think we have some time for a few questions. Let's just jump into the chat here. Okay, why is it important to own your marketing channels? Sina, since you spoke so eloquently about—
Great question. Got my flag out, the own marketing flag. I'm gonna be walking down, down either Olympic or Sunset Boulevard today, just to, really get the word out. No, I'm kidding. I think it's important because we've seen such strong evidence as to what could happen if you're too reliant on non-owned marketing channels. The example that I gave earlier of Instagram before it was being monetized in around 2015 or so, it was all about engagement, and Facebook just there was a reason that they weren't monetizing from it, is because if there were too much ads and if it was too expensive, then they wouldn't be able to really get that merchant and consumer lock-in and, really being able to generate a lot of engagement and a lot of access on these channels. And ultimately what's happened over time, a lot of merchants feel like they were kind of lured into that platform under the premise of a really easy channel that's going to have a lot of free organic reach. It's quote unquote free marketing in a sense. And over time, that organic reach gone down to almost zero for a lot of e-commerce merchants. And if you want evidence of this, feel free to open up your Instagram right now. And I assure you that most of the posts that you see from e-commerce merchants and businesses, they will say sponsored in the top left. So it's kind of become like a pay-to-play platform. And I think it only reiterates how important it is to really own as much of your sales and marketing as you can from end to end, so you're in control and you don't have to worry about decreases in organic reach. You don't have to be, you can be less reliant on a lot of other companies that are out there, because you now have a communications channel with your customers and your merchants in real time, and you own that audience. It's really all about owning your audiences instead of just renting.
Awesome. Say it so eloquently. I'm glad you took that one. Okay, the other one that we can address on today's call, I'm considering adding SMS as a new channel. What should I focus on first to be successful? So it's a great question, and it's something that comes up actually a lot because SMS is still considered that newer channel. And so if you haven't invested in SMS yet, don't worry, but the first thing that I would recommend doing is doubling down on growing your subscribers, right? I think your program's only gonna be as successful as your list is. And so to see that average 25x ROI, brands for Yappo are enabling at least 3 to 4 different subscriber tools and being very diverse with it. So it's not just about a pop-up, though that's probably gonna be your most effective way to generate SMS subscribers, but you, again, want to meet your mobile consumer where they are. So, enabling an Instagram story to swipe up to subscribe, or perhaps in your brick and mortar store, allow customers to subscribe to SMS right at the counter. There's a number of different ways that you can capture subscribers, and focusing on that right away is how you're going to see the most success. So good luck if you are investing in SMS, but we're here always for any questions that you have. So I think that's all the time we have for today. But just wanted to thank Sina, thank the Tapcart team, everyone in the audience. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys have any questions about what we covered today, or want to learn more about how you can leverage SMS marketing and mobile apps in this new mobile-first world to engage customers, please feel free to reach out to me, mdunn@yappo.com.
And if you want to reach
Thanks.
out to us on the Tapcart side, we have a promotion right now for anyone listening here where we'll get you some free time and also a free app design. So you can email me at Sina, that's S for Sam, I, N for Nicholas, A for Apple, at